What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I'm gonna break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, the QQQ, and a couple of tickers out there. I'm gonna break down what data is coming out for today. In just a couple of hours, it's gonna cause a big move in the stock market, and some other important things you have to watch for when it comes to technicals and etc. Before I do anything like this, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. If you deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks plus a $50 cash reward. Offer ends in just 2 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, what's going on with the market? What data should we be watching for? So just as a reminder, guys, we have the JOLTS job openings coming out 30 minutes after the market opens, or at about 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. And this is going to be very important because the jobs numbers will affect the Fed's policies. I believe the market's going to make a big move depending on what they look like, and this could cause the market to either tank or make a big move to the upside. Now, right now, technicals aren't looking that strong, at least to start us off, but you always want to be open-minded and watch for confirmation just to be safe. Then after that, we have the Dallas Fed Services Revenue Index coming out at 10:30 a.m. It may not cause as much volatility, but this could cause somewhat of a move too. So for the first 30 minutes and the first hour of the trading day, expect some volatility at 10 o'clock a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Eastern time or New York time. Now, when it comes to some other things going on, we have some big moves going on for AT&T, Best Buy, and just a couple of others. You can see right here, AT&T and Verizon rose about 1.6% after Citi upgraded the telecommunications companies. Best Buy was up 1.3% after beating expectations on earnings. Big Lots was up. I'm sorry, it didn't do too bad right over here, about 14% after it posted a smaller than expected loss, so not bad whatsoever. So some decent moves were made with the earnings, but nothing too insane. Now, a couple of things to know before the market opens. August, we're a little bit weak for August. That is what happens historically. OpenAI is open for more business. Pretty funny name right there. This is important because they're once again working on launching different debuts. And once again, with the different sizes, they're going to be developing AI in different sectors. And then there's also news that came out that Goldman is selling another business. And besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy. So anyways, for the market, now let's talk about some other levels. So on SPY, we're basically still range bound. If we're bullish, we want to see this thing break above the 200 EMA and hold above it on the 4-hour time frame. We want to see it get above 443 and hold it and start pushing for 444 plus. If it manages to do so, it can start pushing quite nicely. If it rejects off the 200 EMA and starts coming down, you're going to be watching 441, this entire zone of like 440.8 to 441. If it breaks and holds below the 20 EMA, I think it's going to start sinking a little bit lower. We're going to fill this gap all the way down to 439s. Now, one thing that's kind of concerning, at least for many investors out there, I'm going to switch over to like TradingView, would be this. We have this head and shoulders that is still slanted. It's still technically valid. If we get this big break to the downside, we come down to fill the gap that was made. We start breaking all the way down to 439. That is a real possibility. There's a risk of that, and this thing could start sinking even lower to 438. It really depends on the JOLTS job openings. So you're going to be watching, 440 to 441 the entire zone. If that breaks, it's going to start sinking much lower. If it holds this support right over here and tries pushing upwards, you want to see it break above 443 to turn bullish. And if it does so, 444 is going to be tested. If it breaks this, it has potential to push all the way up to the imbalances at 445.3 and etc. But for now, I'm just going to be open-minded and see which way it goes. Now, in the morning for the technicals, we're not looking that bullish right now. Instead, technicals have formed a bearish divergence, and we're seeing the MACD starting to curl a little bit. So it's looking a little bit weaker right now just to start us off, and we're going to also be watching just to see how it reacts to these EMAs and the resistance. So the best thing to do is be open-minded and watch and see what the JOLTS data causes. Now, the market is also kind of like slowing down in the morning, of course, but there's no guarantee it's going to tank super hard because of Aapl and other factors. When we look at Tesla, it's also still like super, super tight, hasn't really gone a clean breakout just yet from this wedge that formed. It still is like super, super tight. Now, we could even redraw it kind of like this, but it doesn't really matter. If anything, Tesla's just very, very tight. We're going to be watching which way Tesla ends up breaking. If we're bullish, we want to see it break and hold above 240 and start pushing for 242 plus. If we're bearish, you want to see it break below where it currently is and retest the 200 EMA, very close to its 235 area. And if that breaks, we could see Tesla start sinking lower. Now, from a technical standpoint, Not looking that strong. It looks like it's very, very flat right now, kind of like range bound between like 235 and about 240. It's been stuck there for quite some time, so see which way it breaks. That's going to determine which way it goes once all the data drops. For Nvda, it's looking very similar, very, very flat. It's not really doing anything too crazy. We're going to be watching to see if Nvidia breaks below the 200. If it does so, you're going to be watching 450 as our support. If it breaks below 460, and then for resistance, watch 470. If it breaks this, 475 to 480 are all possibilities. We're currently in the middle, getting very, very tight. So watch it carefully and just try to be open-minded nonetheless. And then could this be like an inverse head and shoulders? I mean, it's a possibility, but I'm not really counting on it just yet. We're just going to be watching to see which way it breaks with all the JOLTS data coming out. Last but not least, for Aapl, Aapl is going to be a very important one. Aapl right now is trying to fight and hold 180. If Aapl ends up, continuing to hold this level, if it holds 180 and nothing like, breaks, if it holds this and starts bouncing, this could push the market up. That's the risk in this market. If it ends up breaking below this rising wedge, right? Because we have a potential bearish formation. If it breaks below the rising wedge, it could start sinking down to 178 and the market could slow down. There's a risk of that happening if Aapl gets that break below 180. It hasn't happened yet. So we're going to be watching that carefully. If it does break, the market could start sinking, especially after the JOLTS job openings come out. So we're going to be watching that carefully. It's all about 180 on Aapl. If it breaks down, then the market could slow down. If it manages to hold, the market could still continue to hold up a lot better. So that's going to be very important. And then besides that, we have the triple Q. The triple Q, same thing is still going on. We're starting to break below this wedge that was forming, so it's looking a little bit more bearish. We also have this imbalance down here around 363. We might see the triple Q kind of range trade a bit and then may start cooling off. It looks a little bit more bearish now. We might see 363 very, very soon. So as of right now, it's looking weaker from a technical standpoint, but we want to wait and see what the data causes. So for the first 30 minutes, be careful in trading. You could just scalp here and there, but be careful trying to hold anything between, right before the JOLTS data comes out, like right after, because the market could switch directions very quickly and it's going to be very volatile. So just be ready for that. The job openings are going to cause some volatility and we just want to be as open-minded as possible. So watch these ranges, watch these levels super, super carefully. Let me add that right now we also have the VIX. The VIX isn't really doing too much right now. It's hitting the support right here. If it broke the support and started sinking, that would be bullish, but we're still watching support on the VIX to see if that holds or not. The dollar is actually pumping a little bit, so that's slowing the market down. If the dollar keeps going, if it hits this resistance, it could slow us down even more. We'll see if the dollar could keep these levels. It's approaching resistance at 104.4. That's going to be very, very important as well. Anyways, guys, that's what I have for this video. Hopefully this video was helpful for a lot of you out there. On SPY, on the 4-hour time frame, you also want to watch the 200 EMA as the resistance. And for support, you want to watch our 441 level. So we're kind of stuck right now. We'll see what happens with the market from here. We want to be open-minded. We'll see which level breaks and then just get ready for the JOLTS job openings. That's going to dictate which way the market moves. Okay, so hopefully this was simple and quick. Have a great day, everyone. Get ready for trading, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.